Call the meeting order. I guess the first topic or subject is modification and approval of the agenda.
Yes.
Seconds?
Second.
All right, let's move on. And then modification, approval of past minutes. Thank you, Mark, for sending them ahead of time.
Yeah, I'll motion.
Second. Yeah. And I'll, just as a commentary, Mark, as when I text you, Shannon requested at one of the meetings that as soon as the meeting's over, within a reasonable time to send the meetings while they're fresh in everybody's mind. You know, I know we get copies at the next meeting, but to have this so people can read through just to see what they are. But public comment? Nope. All right, so we'll move. All right, so we move to new business, and the first topic is the bylaw revision discussion. You know, I think. I appreciate everybody that looked at it. I hope everybody did. You know, looking back, and we discussed a little when and Dave, you weren't at the meeting, we discussed a little is that the purpose of looking at it is really to set the foundation so there's no ambiguity and no redundancies on what the purposes and the responsibilities of whether the board or the executive director. I will make one comment towards, you know, when we look at this, keep in mind that unlike many organizations, it isn't an extensive staffed organization as from the executive director down. There is no HR department. There is no director of finance. So there are no checks and balances on that side. So when we go through, and this is, and David, as I've read through some of the comments, that's an underlying where it doesn't come out as immediate risk when you go through AI, as I did and you did, but it is a risk that has to be discussed, and come to a conclusion is, okay, how do we protect that individual, the executive director, as well as the board members themselves? And that's when we go through this document, that's what the underlying concern is. I want clarity, lack of transparency, lack of ambiguity, and eliminate redundancies. So the first bylaws was fantastic, but how many, Shannon, you said you did it, when was it done again? 2002 years ago. Well, that was when it moved from the original bylaws to the...
Well, the original bylaws were just like a copied off of it.
Okay.
Like, I think it was just a boilerplate bylaw.
Okay.
And so when we discovered that the board did not know what the bylaws were in June of 23, right? June of 23. They brought in, the former chairman brought in bylaws that were boilerplate chamber bylaws that she had at her chamber. So that's what I used to create our bylaws, and we spent 2 months. We reviewed them 1 month and then voted on them the second month. So that's what those were from. And so, yes, and I typed those all up, and so I will apologize for typing those.
No problem. Yeah. And I do like at the end where it said policy overlays. Again, concern risk is making sure that those policies are approved and put in place and retained, that everybody has access to them. And that's a concern with doing an addendum to existing bylaw, redoing the bylaw agreement versus adding policies that are subsequent to the original document. Just a concern. So we have to discuss how that will be maintained and who will maintain it and how it will be maintained. So that would be a post after this. So I think Mark and I discussed briefly before the meeting and of what the difference is between my red line version and his is, and I think his is probably the most up to date. As to
the one that I submitted?
Yes, the one you submitted today is most up to date because you utilized original like I did and just took.
You can clearly see what's added.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So we will work off, and it's in your packet. We will work off the document Mark sent later this past afternoon. Okay.
That's the one with the box around it.
Okay. Okay. It says review of bylaws and proposed changes. So, I mean, we will go through each one. does anybody have any comments or opinions or thoughts before we start going through each section? Gotcha.
Oh, well, go ahead. As we go, never mind.
Okay.
You're good.
Kevin, anybody have any? Okay.
We can start.
All right. So let me go at the original document here, just so we're going this. Okay, so it does go. Okay.
Probably the most material changes under Article 1, where I added an N so that it says Sumner.
Okay. I guess it's what page am I? Okay, which one is?
This one's right. You said the box one. Yeah, the box
It
one.
looks like this.
Yeah, okay.
Eric, your version has bylaws in blue at the top,
Okay.
and the one David sent today is box, and it says bylaws, tourism board is on there.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This one, yeah, and this one's based off of the most
Okay. Sorry.
current active bylaws.
Sorry. Like I said, we got a nice amount of papers. Okay. So I think we know what our name is, so we can go by that. Purpose. There really wasn't any adjustments to it, I don't believe, right?
No.
Anybody have any comments? Okay. So limitation of methods, Article 3, Section 3.1. There were no modifications, right?
Wait, sorry.
I think there was a
Good.
typo fix.
Yeah,
And then there was the,
yeah,
Yeah, directory.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was
Directory.
directory should be
Directory.
directory.
Yeah, we need to,
Okay.
yeah, we need to correct that.
Did we correct that? Okay.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I had on was just say,
So, did it say the county commission may appoint an at-large member for that term? Was that original? In section 5, well, I'm already.
Yeah,
there you go.
Five,
So
sorry,
let's
go ahead.
wait till we get there.
Sorry, yes, sir.
So 3.1, is everybody in agreement? We're good?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
so
one
adding that typo.
We're gonna
Yeah.
add that
Typo.
line, Eric, you wanna add that line you have highlighted?
Nor shall the corporation
I'm
engage.
sorry, what?
On your version that's highlighted in yellow, nor shall.
No, I think it's, like David and I were discussing earlier, is that is something that was suggested,
Okay.
but it's not mandatory. It's something that we really don't have to. The one that says,
No
nor
campaign.
shall the corporation engage in campaign advocacy or
Should
candidate
stay
endorsement.
there.
It should
really
stay there?
should stay there.
Okay,
That's an addition, it's not.
it's an addition.
It's an addition.
Well, then it should stay there.
Okay.
I agree that it
All right.
should
I'm okay with
stay
that.
Yeah, I think it's a good line.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I don't want,
On
us
section
having
Article 3, Section,
barbecues for whoever's running
Okay.
for
Well,
office.
the only thing I would state is that the opening of that paragraph states that it shall be nonpartisan and non-sectarian.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So that's why I think it is redundant.
Oh, it is, you're
It's
right.
not a bad ad, it is redundant, though.
Yeah.
Okay, then,
well, I mean, that comes, when it was pulled out as to changes
So-
through, it was suggested to put that in, so either way. So what's the thought?
She's right, it does basically state that
it
already.
does.
It does.
Well, you're right, it is redundant, but when I was doing the research.
Nonpartisan doesn't mean that you're gonna do advocacy or candidate
Because you could,
endorsement.
because you could,
No, that's two
because a
different.
501c6
You could still do
can
endorsement for candidate.
electioneer and do all of that, but by state law,
Yep.
501c6, but if our bylaws say that they
That we shall
cannot
not.
engage in advocacy or candidate endorsement, then that makes.
Okay, yeah, I'm
somebody
saying,
do-
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
sorry.
it's a bad ad, but yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, I see what you're saying, I don't know how to otherwise clean it up, but,
I would say let's
but
add
I'll leave
it.
that to the.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that in.
So we're adding, on section 3.1, we're adding, nor shall the corporation engage in campaign advocacy or candidate endorsement.
Okay.
Okay. Membership, I don't think anybody has any issues. Okay. Board of Directors, did anything change on this? Not from 5.1, right?
Section 5.
C,
5
section 5D.
to C, right?
So that is not in the, resolution. If a chamber declines or fails to appoint a representative, the county commission may appoint an at-large member for that term. not in the resolution, and therefore I don't think it should be in the bylaws, because the resolution determines how people are appointed, not us. So,
Yep.
each chamber shall designate its representative, subject to confirmation by the county commission can stay, but if a chamber declines, that needs to go away.
Okay, before you get there, there's spelling, it should be every year, not ever year.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to defend myself a little bit. When we went through this,
Well,
does anybody remember the
yeah.
law office said,
Shannon, if you
let
wanna
me
get home
take
for
it
dinner,
back?
you're gonna
I know.
defend yourself.
He said, let me take it back. He said, because there are typos in here, we're gonna fix them.
He did say that.
Yes.
For the record.
For the record, that's right, yes.
He did say that.
I do have a question on C, because I know this has kind of been a little bit of an issue, that the chamber rep does still have to be approved by, that particular person has to be approved by the commission, which doesn't state that here, it does state that within this correction. But is that a true statement, that it's not just the position, it's the actual person has to be approved?
The person has to be approved.
Okay.
It has to be from the specific. So we have Portland right now, Hendersonville's chamber will be represented next.
Does it state somewhere in here other than in this section, because everybody does have to be approved, and the citizens have to be approved, so is that referenced anywhere else?
In the
It wouldn't be referenced in these bylaws
It's in the
specifically because it's in the resolution,
Okay.
and that's not
That is
stated.
the legal
Okay.
document.
These bylaws are for how the
But I
tourism
did,
board of Sumner County operates, and we don't pick any of that.
Okay,
and I
perfect.
did try to change it so that the chamber, I did have a resolution that the chamber member would come on without a vote from commission. Since it's highlighted in the resolution, you'll send one person from this chamber in this order, but it failed to get enough votes to make it out of legislative.
Because nobody cared enough.
Well,
Well,
they cared too much.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So they wanted to be able to control that person,
yeah.
but,
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we put in the bylaws.
Okay.
The resolution supersedes it.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
But-
that's
So we're
perfect.
good.
That's-
That is-
yeah,
This is
yeah.
more
that
an
is
add-on
still
that's not
something
needed
that
to
I
be, so
want
let's
to
stick with
be,
the original.
to return.
Okay. Now, the mayor, county mayor, made a request to me, and that's why I'm bringing it up right on the next one. The county mayor shall serve as a non-voting, and I guess before my time, that was changed from a voting member to non-voting member. Requested that it becomes a voting member again. That's a discussion just brought up. I don't have an opinion because I don't have any past experiences on it.
That would be part of the change in the resolution.
Well, this would be a change in.
This is
bylaw.
bylaw.
Okay.
That's the bylaws. Yeah,
okay, got it.
Change
Got
the
it.
Go to the
Okay.
county commission.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's the county commission that changed that. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, got it.
yeah,
Got it.
that's us.
I just need an answer.
Not me.
So, here's what the terms of office,
Also in the resolution.
okay, but we changed when the offices started last November because we postponed the election to November. So now there's also discrepancy because county commissioners leave office at a certain time, so there'd be a gap on them versus there. So, I'm, again, throwing it out there, when I did my bylaw changes because of that motion to change the start date in the voting from September to November, and the term started in November. So if we're going back to the original, I'm fine with it, just clarity point.
So I guess the question is where will the gap?
So,
There would be a gap if we went to November.
There's going to be a gap somewhere, and the gap, the gap should not be when officers are elected, because board members can change all the time. But if the gap is around when the county commissioners change versus when the officers change here, that's the bigger risk.
And that's where I'm bringing it up is, what do you all feel?
Which is why changing it to December and November was
Well, that's
proposed, but.
right, but the problem with that is that every fourth year,
They're up for
you
election.
could lose all 4 of your commissioners. So keeping it at September,
That's what,
Here's what we may want to do then. We may want to say we can leave it as is with a separate provision, like in the event there's a change in, a material change in the number of commissioners assigned to it, then we could modify the date accordingly. That might be the way to address it, because these dates are never going to line up. The two are never going to line up.
so how would be the best way to take this, that you have right here, David, and modify or add a statement to clarify that?
Well, let me just read through this real quick.
Will that impact the resolution?
no, the resolution impacts the bylaws, not the other way around. But that's not to say it could not be revisited. But you would still have in that 4th year, you would have 4 commissioners that could possibly not be there. Or even if you had a returning.
What is the
commissioner,
date? What is the date that commissioners would?
So right now, they're elected in August,
When does their term start?
as soon as you're elected, as soon as you're voting,
Really?
your term starts. Yes.
When the votes are ratified.
So
Yeah,
that's why,
that's right.
So let me
Plus,
just,
if you
let
have
me
a
why they
just,
call
would be
meeting or
number one on
anything
August
like that.
31st.
right, so let's just
Okay.
pose this scenario. Let's just say every commissioner on the board goes away at the same time, and new ones come in, and all of the citizens on the board terminate at the exact same time, because that's what this says. You literally have no board.
Yeah, we have it, it's rotating at, we have a few people rotating at the same time. I think the bylaws, as far as term of office, need to stay the way they are. In this
Maybe,
section, in 5.3, they need to stay the way they are, because it would have to be changed in the resolution.
I agree the term of office needs to change, but the question is, do the dates need to change
We can't change anything until
in the resolution?
right, because we have to take that to the floor and vote.
Well, the county commission aspect, we could change the, citizen aspect. That's all.
No, within the
That's
resolution.
specified.
It's all in the resolution.
Okay, so if 100% of this is in the resolution, then any change we make here is irrelevant.
Right, so I say we just
So
move
leave it.
on.
So are we going back to?
But it's not to
September?
say that I would not take
What's stated here,
recommendations.
what's in this sheet, not in
September
the,
and August.
not in the,
Can you specify though, keep those the same and put something in here about officers, when we vote for officers? You could change officers, the resolution doesn't deal with officers at all. It only deals with appointment of
Okay.
members of the
very,
board.
that's a good clarifying.
Yeah, that's
That's
fair.
what I was trying to say,
Yeah,
so
that's
what I'm saying is,
Okay, so we're confused.
Section
I was
5.3,
confusing it, and we were
term of
confusing
office
two different terms of office
needs
versus
to be left alone.
officers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so you're right. So really then what we care about isn't that first section.
This is
No,
the-
you're
What
worried
we care
about,
about
you're worried about
is the
board
later section.
meetings.
Yeah.
Yep, the later
Wherever
section, as
they
the
are.
officers,
Yeah.
election of officers.
Yeah, election of officers.
Okay, so we'll get to that when we
So
get.
that's what we care
Yeah.
about.
Okay, vacancies.
Yes, that's correct, with the original method of an appointment. And serve for the remainder of the unexpired
Okay.
term, yes, I
Yep.
do like that, so that needs to
Okay.
stay there,
Yeah.
5.4.
Regular meetings, okay. Notice of regular meeting shall be given at least 8 hours.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Within at least of the same words, I think.
Yeah.
So we're with written notice at website, which notice shall be stated at time, place, and purpose. Okay. All right. And again, Open Meetings Act, if we don't, everybody assumes that. I mean, I don't think we have to add that. Do you guys agree?
It's fine, it's there.
Yeah, as is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, everything's good.
Special called meetings, let's see, and again, there's really no need to put in accordance with, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody agree with that's fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Annual meetings, the annual meeting of the Board of Directors shall be held September each year. or such time and place the board of directors shall determine, which we did this past year.
We changed those bylaws to November, correct?
Well,
To November.
okay, do we want it in November? Because if we're keeping the elections where they are, you can't have the annual meeting, we do the elections, so
But we elected you in November.
that was a discussion earlier on, we're going to the next section as officers, okay, so.
Yeah.
So people come in
Okay,
September.
so we want it,
New board members.
we want it in November. We want it in November.
Elect officers in November.
Okay, so the change on this would be,
The changes for the election of officers.
yeah, well, the annual meeting would be in conjunction with the election, so.
Correct.
So we would change this
That's
to
what we would
November.
Yes.
Okay, change to November. All right, meeting, let's go ahead and go board, September quorum shall consist of 5 other members, quorum at all meetings, quorum transaction of the consists of all 5 voting members present, active, present meeting. Was shortened, but this is fine, just leave it the way it is. Okay, that was just taking one long paragraph and shortening it to a shorter one, so leave this. Okay. Manner of acting at all meetings of the board of directors, each director shall have 1 vote. The majority of the directors present at any duly called meeting, the quorum is present, shall be the act of the board, except as otherwise required by law, the charter of corporation, or these bylaws.
Where are you?
It's 5.9. Yeah,
Oh.
that 5.9, I was on the fence on because there is some
Yeah, they said to omit
redundancy. Yeah, I think 5.8
covers it.
So I agree 5.9 is not needed. I agree with that. I was on the fence on that one. I saw you mark it off, and I didn't bring it up because I agree.
Okay.
We don't need it.
Duties of the board and board members. The duties of the board shall include, but not limited to, establishment of the corporation's mission and goals. Now, I'd like to put in annual, because in any business, your mission and goals will reflect the new board officers that come in. Now, it could be a carryover and just replicated, but it should be an annual thing because you have new officers coming in. So it's just a word adding in there. Thoughts?
In the active version, it says adoption of an annual budget.
Well, mission and goals different from budget.
Established of the corporation's mission and goals. Well, I agree, but we don't want to set an annual mission. That's lame, first of all. Second of all, a mission should be overarching and should span years, not just terms of.
And again, it can be replicated, it's approved, but it's just, I'm fine either way. Thoughts, anybody else?
My recommendation on that is if the board feels like they need to, because the mission and goals is not included in the bylaws, if the board ever feels like they need to change the mission and goals, then
Can I get
they
a copy
should do
of
it.
our mission and goals?
I'm just saying. I mean, I understand. It's kind of a starting comment. I
know.
get it. However,
No, I know it. But
not everything is in the
that's another
bylaws,
day of another topic.
but it should never be in the bylaws,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
That doesn't belong in bylaws.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm a very serious person. but
okay.
It should not belong in bylaws. It doesn't go there.
We'll offset each other. I'm not always that serious. So, employment and hiring. Appointment upon approval of full county commission and supervision of the executive director.
Correct.
Okay. Should it be /hiring?
No.
I
No,
think the commission
because
hired.
the resolution, yeah, the commission.
Okay, so the county commission does the hiring.
Correct. So what happens
Okay,
is,
just a clarification.
yeah, so the board presents, the board selects their executive director, and then the county commission has to approve it.
Right.
That's
Okay.
been the dilemma that we're with right now. We hired Mark initially to be the interim director, then we went through the interview process to hire an executive director. We hired Mark as the executive director. County commission has not approved it yet. So, once that's the next step.
So,
And so we don't get to choose that, we just We just make the
We
recommendation.
make a recommendation. Have we made a recommendation to the county commission? This board?
Yes.
This board,
No.
this board meaning everybody, including the people that are brand new? No, but if you look through the body, if you look.
When was the recommendation?
It was last December.
Before the board.
No, it was,
Let's-
it was November,
Good, I mean, that's
and
on
then
the
we
next,
brought it,
Yeah.
we brought it to the floor in December,
Yeah.
and we had to remove it.
let's put that to later on.
So that's part of it, yeah.
Discussion, okay? But, do we need a clarification, adoption of annual budget? Because adoption, where does that responsibility lie?
He presents, the director presents
Presented by the
budget.
executive director,
So the process is the executive director
presents to
presents
us.
to us, we agree with it,
And
or
then
we
it goes
make
to get
changes,
presented to county.
then he presents it to the.
So we're not
county
adopting
commission.
it.
Well, if the county commission approves something different than what we approve,
Yeah.
we get that.
Okay,
So, yes, we are adopting.
so over clarification
Mhm.
by my part.
So
Right.
essentially, we're adopting and recommending.
Yeah.
the county.
Yeah,
Yes.
so basically,
Yeah.
it's over clarification.
Mhm.
Okay. Appointment of executive officers in the event of vacancy of office, which is provided, establish committees and appointments by board members to those committees, establish a time and place of special board meeting by directors. Okay, that seems to be on line with what we have, right? Okay. Attendance. Chad, I'm gonna reach to you on the attendance part.
So part of that's in the resolution, so it is that if you miss 2 in a row without notice, you may be removed or deemed to have resigned. The board would have to vote to remove that person, and then the
Then it
county
goes to the county.
commission would have to vote by 2/3 majority to remove that member. So, I don't know if we've had to, I haven't been keeping up with the attendance, but I don't think we've had anyone that's missed
I would say we've had,
2 in a row without notice.
well, with notice, yeah, not without notice, maybe one was with notice, one without.
Yeah.
Well, I think if it went to county, it would never get through anyway, so, so.
By 2/3 vote.
Yeah, by 2/3 vote, I don't see it happening. But attendance of board meetings
Cause
according
that's
to the board,
law. But it is good to get
resign,
it back.
okay, replace the board members will be appointed, okay, we'll just leave it as is,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Officers, the executive officer of the corporation are the chairman, vice chairman, and treasurer. Thing that sits on me is secretary. And I want people's opinions as whether we vote a secretary in. It's not a position that continues on, so it's not a permanent position. So isn't that, if we're voting a person in, that's an officer, isn't it?
Mhm.
So shouldn't that be added?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So
And I don't know why it wasn't in the original.
Well, this is your executive board, it's not your officers, you're talking about your
No,
executive.
well, that's,
It's a, in
but
some
my name was,
boards, that means something, I don't.
yeah.
But I don't think there's any reference of any other board, so I think our executive board is a board.
Yeah.
So I would take the word executive out.
Yeah, we can.
Just have officers.
It just says officers, it doesn't, it says executive officer, so officers, just take executive out and put officer of the corporation and add secretary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The election term, the board shall elect chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer annually. Here's where it was, the chairman and vice chairman shall be members of, they said the secretary doesn't have to be. Okay, so here's where, let me see where it was, okay.
That, yeah.
We have an issue that shall serve 1 year, not to exceed 1 term. We run out of people.
What does that mean?
Basically, I'm chair. It says 1 year,
Yep.
not to exceed 1 term. I can never be chair again.
After 1 year, correct?
Right. We have 4 citizens and 4 board members. Are we limiting, based on the amount of years of people on the board, limiting the opportunity of, can be successive years? That's the word I want to put in there, because we may want to, some people aren't, well, we had the elections this November, so people didn't step up and say, hey, I want to be this, I want to be that. We had to draft a couple people. So my concern is, based on the limited number of board members and the positions that you have are almost 50%, are we limiting ourselves as the people that could serve as in certain positions to one term during the whole entire time that they're here? So if you put successive, it means that there's a gap. Doesn't mean they're going to be elected again, but it gives the board the option to vote that person in again. Just throwing out there.
So you want to remove,
No, add successive.
well, it's right there, elected,
No, it
okay.
isn't. May not serve successive terms instead of serve 1 year.
The thing about that is then the way it's written today, it does force other board members who haven't fulfilled that role to actually do that. And yeah, it may be pulling teeth to get some people to serve as officers on the board, but that doesn't mean they
That they will accept, and it doesn't mean that they have the skill set. And the third, you look as
yeah, I mean that's true, but
you're
also
limiting your options. And it's not really, it doesn't mean you're going to vote. I'm just saying is it gives you the option.
Yeah, because given, if you had a brand new board member and you were doing elections, you could conceivably have someone brand new to the board
That doesn't know any of
that
this.
steps into the chair role immediately.
yeah, that was me.
That we
Yeah,
did,
I don't understand the problem.
but everybody quit.
I came in, we voted, they asked me to be the chairman, so I said yes. That was literally first meeting.
Right.
I mean, that happened to you, but I'm just questioning whether we want to continue that practice.
But like I said, not everybody has the same skill set that they can walk into. You look at the citizen members, some people have never been, I've been on, this board's totally different from the 3 other tourism boards I've been on.
Right.
The way it works. It's still a learning curve when you're going through, so it gives you the flexibility versus limiting yourself. It doesn't mean you have to do it.
Well, if it's in here, that means that you can.
No, this limits.
The question is,
This limits you. I'm saying
Correct.
if you do it
I agree.
with the words that I said about successive terms.
I agree that it limits you, and I'm comfortable with the limit.
What's,
I mean, I would not agree to.
So I'm going to disagree with David,
That's fine.
because what,
People disagree with me all the time. I'm totally good with it.
because of what we just went through when we nominated officers. And because 3 years ago, I had been on the commission for 3 years. So, and having dealt with the government animal, I do see the wisdom in having 2-year terms for the officers, but maybe not every officer. But I see the wisdom in that, especially since we only meet every other month. But but what I'm not sure that you and I are communicating correctly is that it says may not serve successive terms. You want to
add that in. Add that in. That's not in there. It says it only 1 term.
Yeah, it
Not
says,
to exceed
and serve
1 term.
1 year.
Well, that's what, we're not going by.
Oh,
That's the one I would suggest you go in.
All
What David said is not to exceed 1 term. I'm saying,
yes, I need to
so
look at that.
may not serve successive terms.
I think, I agree with Shannon in terms of there's some value in continuity in terms of having someone in their role.
So maybe we can make the chairman and treasurer 2-year terms.
No, that's not what we're saying.
No, we're saying, what he's saying is, okay, I serve for a year,
Oh, but you.
then I'm done, but maybe
The following year, you
the
can
following
vote it in.
year, I could be that
Vote it
again.
in.
Oh, okay,
That's
yes.
what-
So yes, I'm okay with that. I am fine with that.
So,
And only because it just provides,
so what we're adding is, and you can put in parentheses, elected officers may not serve successive terms in a given board position.
That I'm fine with.
Okay?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, got it.
Why would
Just
we
a
not
quick
on
question, so it says commencing on July of each year.
We're going back to July.
Right, but here's the other thing to remember, right? Just because you're an officer doesn't mean you get to go and make decisions on your own. Every decision has to happen with the board anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So the continuity comes in the fact that you're still on the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what your change that you're recommending, I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm retracting my statement that I will not agree, because now I do. You've talked me into it.
All right. Vacancy. Was there any real change in that, David?
No.
Okay. I think it was just shorthand. That was about it.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
nothing to change there.
Okay. So chairman shall have general charge and control of affairs of the corporation subject to the direction of board and director of office. The chairman shall proceed at all meetings. The chairman shall perform such duties necessary in the office as well as other duties assigned by the board. The chairman shall have the power to call special called meetings of the board of directors as provided by the bylaws. The chairman shall have the power to sign and execute all contracts and instruments of conveyance in the name of the corporation, to sign checks, drafts, and notes, and to perform all other duties usually incident to the office of the chairman.
My added was this: the chairman's authority to execute contracts, instruments, and checks shall be exercised in accordance with the board adopted policies.
Okay, so this goes by
Delegations of
is
authority.
coming up with a policy to a separate note, like I said, $1,000, whatever that numeral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because and this, it goes back to the 3 boards I was on, when I was St. Louis, I mean, had a budget of $55 million. So there was anything over $10,000 could not be unilaterally signed by the executive director. It had to be co-signed by the board member, even if it was in budget.
Yep.
So that's where we have to come up with a policy with that amount. I just thrown out $1,000. That was an arbitrary number.
Yeah. I mean, $1,000.
I think some of what David pointed out.
You don't think so?
Arbitrary? No, $1,000 is. Are you kidding me? That is so low.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
My kids can write a check for $1,000.
Well, I think from what David's pointed out is that the bylaws, we've got to be real careful putting procedural kind of things.
Correct. My point is, that number does not belong anywhere in the bylaws. We need to write a policy.
Right.
Yeah, and I know what that.
And that should be what we're.
Right, that's what I'm
writing
saying
a policy.
I'm putting a note of a policy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We could make any policy we want, like you have to, give money to puppies.
Policies are easier to manage than a bylaw, and the bylaw should just be general provisions.
So we will keep that as is. Let's keep going down.
Yeah.
The chairman shall act as authoritative representative to pass the board, boom. That's all the same to abolish corporation committees. So it does appoint chairs and members of the corporation to create new committees, to abolish any of the corporation committees. That's where it wasn't a new thing that I had added in. It was in here. So
No, the only thing I added was one statement at the end that says committee shall serve in an advisory capacity unless otherwise authorized by the board. And the reason I put that in there
I like
is
that.
because, we couldn't and shouldn't put together a committee.
to dictate what the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The committee should be for the purpose of it.
I am totally agreeing. Okay. That's a good clarification.
Yeah. Minor, but that's.
No, that's not much. I think that is a really good clarification. Okay. Office of Vice Chairman, I think you forgot to put in here, must maintain total, under the chairman's wishes.
That's right. I should have put that in. I actually thought about putting that in, but
Vice Chairman.
I ran out of ink.
During any time. I don't think there's any, change on that, right?
Yeah.
Office Secretary shall custody corporate records and no one appoint. Now, this is another policy thing we have to look at, is, custodian of the records.
I have the record.
Okay.
Who else has records?
I keep everything that's been done here, I'm a rat when it comes to storing stuff, and, trying to get things, but I know when I mentioned this before, when I came on the board, I do a search for bylaws, I do a search, it was just the lease agreement, everything couldn't find
Well, I
out.
mean,
Yeah.
this is good. I mean, I'm actually the secretary right now, and it says that he or she has the option to appoint someone to act as custodian. That's, I'm appointing Mark.
Yeah.
Well, Mark has an administrative assistant,
Right.
which is totally.
Mark, I will protect you on this one, it should be a policy thing, and we're not discussing policy.
And that is a good idea because we have a place to store
Yeah.
our minutes.
Yeah.
One other board that I am on, none of the board members has a complete set of policies.
Yep.
Nor a complete set of bylaws.
That can happen.
And we call it the golden briefcase, because nobody on the board except the chairman has access to them, and only doles them out to us as attachments when we're going to discuss them in a meeting. So, the joke is that it's in the golden briefcase.
How do you get people
And
to
we
serve on
don't
that
know.
board?
Yeah, they're begging to serve on that board. It's the most popular board in the county. So,
Library board. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway. because there is no specific location for those papers.
Right.
Because we have never voted to deem a drawer in one of the offices as the specific location to keep. And to further complicate, which we know this from several months ago, the county has no HR department, and that makes it even worse. So yes, keeping the documents there is a good thing. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so we
Because
will,
we do not want to get to the golden briefcase.
we will push this to a topic of policy at a later meeting.
However, in the wording here, you repeat yourself. So the secretary shall serve as custodian or appoint someone to act as custodian. And then in the last line, if the secretary so chooses, he or she has the option to appoint someone to act as
Yeah, we don't need
custodian.
that line.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I would just delete that.
take that last sentence, short.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that. And then we should probably,
And we will
not
work,
now,
I'll put
but
it
during the next
policy.
meeting, we need to talk about options for
Yeah.
a document.
And probably write a
It's
policy
available.
that
Yeah,
says,
just a policy
puts it into
of
writing.
procedure.
So the future board members can, where are the documents stored, and they just refer back to the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the golden
Yeah.
briefcase.
Office of Treasurer, with the concurrence of the
Golden ticket.
chairman, the treasurer shall report periodically in corporation finances to the executive office of the board and assist the executive director in preparing a budget proposal for submission to the board of directors as well as presented to Sumner County Commission Budget Committee. Well, I don't think,
We're nowhere close to that.
right, and, one of the things that when I had gone through the bylaws originally, which stood out was this, that, to you, give you credit, you are responsible for managing the day-to-day finances, but the treasurer should review or at least look at and say to us as a board, yes, I reviewed what Mark has and I'm good with it, in a more formal sense. As to the budget presentation as well as what you present monthly. And whoever's treasurer, I think we should clarify that and bring it a little bit more in line with that position,
It would also take some policy changes as well, that the treasurer does not have access to any of those records.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct, so that's where
Having
we
been the
need to
treasurer
address.
last time, I can tell you, I had no access.
Yeah, that's
To
where we
any
need to
record.
address a document repository.
Okay, so we will put that on.
You can present those to the county commission.
Well,
Never
we-
have to, so.
Yeah, no,
And the way Sumner County works, that might be the best way to do it.
Yeah, who is treasurer?
Mary?
Mary.
Mary, oh,
Yeah.
But she
She's
wasn't,
presenting at 11 o'clock on Thursday.
right, but to her defense, she was drafted for the position, if you remember. So,
Typically changing for 6.7.
well, on that thing, we're not changing,
No.
we're just discussing that we will do policies on those, both treasurer and secretary, we will do policies on their positions at a later time.
I would recommend striking the word executive officers and just go to the board.
Yeah, that aligns with what we said earlier.
Okay, where's that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. So it says shall report periodically on corporation finances to the executive officer officers and the
Just
board.
to
We should
the
just say
officers.
to the board.
To the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mission to the board.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay. All right, executive director.
This needs to be much shorter.
I made a couple of additions. Yeah, are you talking about the list?
The duties of the executive director.
Yeah.
I don't know, I read it, I put another 2 pages.
Yeah, I made a couple changes to 6.8 under the section, just to modernize some of the language, right? So it says the board's supervision of the executive director shall focus on performance, accountability, and alignment with the mission and approved budget.
That's good.
That's,
So, let me ask you,
because all it said before was the board is in charge of hiring and firing.
Right.
That means absolutely nothing. That means they can do it at will for no good reason, but we should be managing the executive director's performance, the job that he's supposed to be doing.
I totally agree, performance reviews and, so and setting goals and things like that, but, whether they're broad or defined, but, so I'm agreeing with that, adding that. The board will be responsible for disciplinary action, termination.
I have a question on that, Eric. So, the county commission ultimately hires the director, but the board has the authority to,
The board manages the executive director
Okay.
once
approved.
Yeah,
Yep,
the county commission does not fire.
correct.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I get to her thing, Mark, don't take this, but if we terminate, we have the authority to terminate the executive director, or does that have to go to the county commission for?
We do it.
We do it.
Okay, I just
All right,
wanted
that was your
clarification on that,
question.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, clarity.
Mhm.
Okay. If the position becomes vacant, the board will be responsible for interviewing new candidates, making recommendations to the full county commission appointment. That hasn't changed. In the event of a vacancy in the executive director position, the board may appoint an interim executive director, define the scope and duration of interim authority by resolution. I appreciate that one, Mark.
Yeah, you wanted that one in there,
Yeah.
and so I would figure out how do we add that?
I think it's a policy thing.
My resolution needs to go away.
Yeah.
That conflicts with, county, language, just leave it by interim authority,
Okay,
period.
not by
Oh,
resolution.
yep, okay,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, because we don't want.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think it protects both the interim as well as the board.
Yep.
Okay, no offer of employment shall be executed without a candidate being appointed and elected by the full county commission.
Correct.
And to be clear, the candidate would be the executive director position, not the interim director.
Correct.
Okay,
The interim,
yes.
Mark,
No
yep,
offer
the
of employment.
interim, that's where interim versus executive gets tricky, because Mark was hired to be the executive director. He doesn't get to be the executive director until it's elected by the full county commission. So we didn't hire him to be the interim director. That's not what he was hired to be. He was hired to
That's what
be
the
the
offer
executive.
letter said.
So
Copy of the letter.
there was two. We hired him to be the initial letter was interim director because nobody wanted to be an interim. Then we re-interviewed and hired him to be the executive director. We did 2 rounds of interviews.
Where's a copy of that letter?
I have it, I don't have it with me.
Okay, because
But it's also in the minutes, even if there's not a letter, if you
Wow.
watch the minutes where it was approved, and then
that before my time, before his
Yeah.
time.
I agree, but the minutes are still there.
Right, but again, it's a retention of documents.
Yep.
And we don't have an HR department, so I'm just
I
saying,
agree.
the only one I had is the original
Yep.
for, employment. And that's, again, that's second part of the meeting, this discussion, so.
Yep.
Again, any change with no offer of employment should be executed without the candidate being appointed by the elected board. Okay. The executive director shall be the primary operational signatory for contracts and expenditures conducted in the ordinary course of business, subject to board-approved budgets. Is expenditure conducted in board, and I agree with that, but it's the exceeding the budgets.
Not to exceed the budget?
Yeah. Because that's where it comes, into play is you have a budget line. You know, if the expenditure's done, you know, and I don't think we've said no to anything you've done because they were good decisions.
I haven't asked.
But you haven't asked yet. But looking at the variances, you know, it should be in accordance with budget.
The reason this line is in here is because we don't want we don't want there to be a conflict between the chairman of the board and the executive director on who is primarily responsible, and it's the executive director.
Oh, most definitely.
And that's why this is here, is to provide that.
And I agree with that. Well,
Ambiguity.
my comment was, should we put a fence around the approved budget?
Isn't there already one?
We already do that.
Bottom
We
line
approve
is
the budget.
Okay, but if there's variances in the budget, where's the
Is
checks and balances?
the bottom line is the fence.
So
You're gonna-
are you talking
You're gonna
about
micromanage each
what,
line.
right, but what part, give me an example of where you're concerned, because we approve the budget, so you're saying if Mark has $10,000 allocated for XYZ.
Right.
But he uses a portion of that for something else because he didn't need to do it, but it's still within the scope, but he doesn't go over budget, then that's a problem. That's called micromanaging, and I'm not into that.
No, and I take your point, Shane, go.
So, I think now that we've talked about this for the last, budget's has been kind of a big issue every time it seems like since you've been the chairman. Or even before you were the chairman, you wanted 2 years back and 3 years back so we could have a compared contrast, et cetera. We are heading into budget at the county right now, and so, for instance, on the other board I'm on, their budget, and all of the budgets are in the governmental accounting budget. I mean, I've got line items for bird seed and soil. I mean, and I feel like that kind of is more or less where you want to be, where if he has $10,000 for marketing, you want a line item. Do you want a line item?
And I take your side, and I know what you're saying.
And I'm being
My
neutral
thing is
here
that we
in
do have a
asking for
budget,
understanding.
and we may maintain the overall budget amount. That really leaves it open to a lot of questionable expenditures, because you could cut marketing, you could cut marketing because you're not spending it, and take that $40,000 and I'm gonna buy rented cars for everybody on the staff for a week.
Right, but you would know that in the next board meeting when he does.
But it's already done.
Then you fire.
And then you fire.
I mean,
But
that's your control.
But I think that's where you need the policy. So how governmental accounting does it is that we have line item transfers. So if you're moving within the line, the budget committee approves that movement. If you're moving from one line out of one bucket to another bucket, like governmental accounting, you're never allowed to touch payroll. You can't touch payroll. And so, but if I'm going to buy bird seed instead of dirt, or dirt instead of bird seed, and it's over a certain amount, you have to get board approval, you have to get budget approval and commission approval. So one way maybe this is going to need some type of policy.
I just wrote that down.
But one way
That covers both ends.
may be that any transfer of funds
I mean, it's-
over X amount needs to have board approval.
Right, that's in
before
there,
you
but
can
it's
do it.
also developing a budget template,
Yeah.
expenditure, accounting
Yeah.
template.
Right.
So we have to, that's a separate, put on the side, this is good.
Yep.
Yeah, so, all right, so the executive director shall do the following duties: wash the chairman's car weekly and wax. You know, you didn't see that one on subject 1A, right, Mark? So, now, oversee daily operations business.
Somebody's
affairs.
racking, waking up.
Did anything get added in here?
That's what I'm looking,
I see we included the other duties assigned, it's in every job description.
yeah.
Pick up the laundry,
Yeah.
buy lunch every other
Oh.
Wednesday.
Yeah, hold on, let me go through it. Develops the board plan of organization for employees and staff, prepare and the budget, select the employee, develop and evaluate discharge of employees, develop supervise business affairs. I think we covered that. Again, I think, Mark, I would say probably the things I was mentioning are policy changes, or, you know, they lay within the job description that was put as well, the hiring job description that was approved prior to my being here.
Those policy changes would be for operational policies, not for board policies. That would be out of scope for him. Like, he shouldn't be writing board policies.
Right.
No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever these are, have to align, they need to align with job description. I mean, we can't have a bylaw that's different from a job
Yes.
description.
So what we need to do.
Okay, let's go. Implement board. Okay. Develop and submit the board plan of organization for the employees and staff concerned. What is a plan of organization for employees?
Assigning duties.
Okay, is that job descriptions?
I mean, that's what it would be.
What letter are you on?
C.
Thank you. Okay. Would that be like a,
Job description.
Or, being an organizational chart.
there you go, one
So-
chart is what I was thinking. That's a dirty word around the county.
Is it what?
You don't have to all charts, these are easily.
I mean, a clarification.
A plan of organization is an org
We
chart.
have one committee.
So, it would just be-
Organization chart there.
Here's,
But how about job descriptions?
Here's, I just had a quick question
If you
on
want 'em.
this. Is that necessary to have in our
No.
bylaws?
No.
Because he's over the staff, correct?
Yeah, we
You know
would
what I
never include any of that in the bylaws. All this is saying is that
The
Mark,
executive director should be doing.
yeah, he needs to have an org chart, and he needs to be able to have descriptions for everybody that's working for him of what their job is. That's all this is saying. It's
Okay.
saying he's responsible for managing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say he's responsible for giving that to the board whenever the board asks
Okay.
for it.
But
Although he
responsible to
probably
regularly
would.
report to the board my activities.
Yeah. All these bullets are saying is that Mark is responsible for doing these things.
Can we,
Or the executive.
can we just add along with job descriptions? Just see,
If you like.
semicolon, along with job descriptions.
That is fair. I have,
Prepare annual budget.
I mean, it falls under E technically, select employee, develop,
Yeah.
control, evaluate, and discharge employees. And
Yeah.
And maintain personnel policies and practices for employees of the corporation. That's very broad, and it encompasses.
It sort of
making
carries
sure
on
there's
both,
job
it's sort of both, because one's organizational, which is
Yeah.
job description, the other one is daily operation.
Yeah.
So I'd leave it up on C and just leave the E the same.
Well, yeah, we don't,
I believe
if we jam
this
some of those
section
job
came from
descriptions
the
up in
policy.
C,
I
yeah,
didn't make all this stuff up. I feel like this
Right.
section came from the current, the employee manual that we have.
right.
And which you may still be, policy manual, you may still be using it, I don't know.
Right.
I am, but it needs to be updated.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, well, get on that.
But my point there is that the board should not be approving job descriptions that Mark comes up with, or approving the types of jobs that he.
But it
that
says
he-
it shall have the following specific duties and responsibilities, it's not saying the board to.
No, but that C specifically says develop and submit to the board.
Oh, okay, so put it under.
I'm saying E incorporates everything else.
I will
All this
say at
is
some
saying-
point, though, if a budget is approved and he now wants to hire 10 new people, that's an issue.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree, and he would need to submit that to the board. That's what line item C says, but line item C doesn't say that, like, he should always submit, like, job descriptions for everybody all the time.
okay, I'll give you that, I think it does cover under E.
There's a billion line items here.
No,
But
it
it's
doesn't.
covered under one of them.
I believe we voted for this when we did it a couple of years ago.
I agree, that's why you review it all the time and you make changes.
Hey, no matter what it is, it's good to.
You had time to figure out how bad it is.
No matter what it is,
Hey, I
whether
took
we
you
agree or
positions.
disagree.
But I'm not taking it personally.
Whether we agree or disagree, it's good to discuss, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So, F is supervise the business affairs of the corporation to ensure the funds that are collected and expended to the best possible advantage. All right, I hope.
Best possible advantage. Not the least possible.
Gotta do the best possible advantage.
So Mark, develop some metrics about what's the best advantage and the least advantage.
All right, to assist cooperation between board and other persons concerned with the operation of the corporation. Okay, submit. Okay, I don't see any other, any ones that stood out there. Did you add any others?
Under K,
Okay.
there is, and this could be something for policy. It says that that can execute all contracts, checks not to exceed amounts set by the board. Which
Yeah,
would be
and
policy.
we put that.
But-
That will need to be policy, yeah.
But would contracts be under that as well?
Because in the front end, under board, it says approval of contracts. Here it says approval, so it's a conflict of.
There is a conflict because it says the
between
chairman
the two.
can.
Yeah.
But I think that's two different things. That's what, I wanted to come back to
Right,
that as
currently there's
well.
no limit on the contracts, but there is a limit on the checks.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering is,
So should we add to the policy developing discussion and contracts?
We do need to mind, yeah.
All right?
Oh, yeah.
Let me look and see,
Then-
because it talks about contracts.
It's actually a protection.
That's good.
Oh, I know exactly what it is. We really do need something around the contracts, that,
Okay.
especially if they're multi-year.
Okay.
it's a delegation of authority.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
Just adding
We will
on to
put
the
that as,
delegation of
we'll
authority.
put that as, I'll put that with the contracts and checks.
Yeah.
We'll develop policy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For everybody concerned.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on this section?
Just tell me when you're gonna do that, so I can get some things done first.
Suddenly, all the expensive contracts are signed.
All the K needs to be subject to policies and delegation of authority.
You want to put that subject to?
I think it should.
And
I think
So, say it one more time?
Under section K, I think there should be something added that it's subject to policies and delegation of authority, the entire section K. Because you could have it for contracts, you could have it for checks. You could have it for drafts if there's a loan that is gonna be taken out. I mean, there are so many things here
Yeah.
that
All right.
there has
I like
to
that.
be a delegation of authority.
Want me to repeat it one more time?
All right.
Okay, so under K, and just, you guys correct me if you don't think this is exactly correct. At the end, you could take out, I think you could take out the not to exceed amount set by the board, take that out, but then at the end, add subject to,
But it already says it at the beginning. I added it right here, I already added a general statement at the top that says the executive director shall be the primary operational signatory for contracts and expenditures conducted in the ordinary course of business, subject to board-approved
Okay.
budgets and policies. So basically, all you're doing is repeating
is
it.
delegation of authority considered a policy? Or should delegation of authority be added there as well?
I mean, there should be a delegation of authority policy for sure, but also the board still approves it. But yeah, I mean, we can put delegation of authority there, but we put that somewhere else as well. So I'm fine with that. It shouldn't be.
So what am I saying?
It shouldn't go in K, it should go.
Okay, so then, okay, at the top, just add, because we have, board approved budgets and policies and delegation of authority.
Yeah.
And then you could I think you can take out not to exceed amounts set by the board under K in that case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what he's covered in the. One paragraph.
Yep, agreed.
Okay. So section under disbursements, really the only change is a added thing, approval of the annual budget of authorized executive to expend funds within the budget, subject to board adopted financial policies.
Yeah.
Perfect. Says it all.
I'll read this a couple of times.
I was laughing about the parliamentary procedure, so latest edition of Robert's Rules
And what is your last name?
Blankenship.
Well, Mr. Blankenship is from the, there's section.
I work in higher education, there's people that are like, they're diehard Robert's Rules of Orders, do not get out of order with those people.
Oh, there's,
You'll be told.
there are people that are like that here.
So David, as with, when I did mine, the sections were just carryover, that were from the original one that, it was funny is that when I did AI, they sort of discounted it, saying you really, but I said it's in there, might as well keep it in there.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's the same. Is there any other changes that,
I didn't have any other
And legal
material
will have
changes.
issues, all the conflicts or duality and interest and all of that.
I had to keep going legalese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legally.
You're right.
Legal.
Yeah.
Shall I make a motion? Would you ready to entertain?
Yeah, can we make, should we wait till it's done and resubmit it to make motion for approval? A motion that the preliminary discussions are formalized into a document for approval.
I will make that motion.
I will second.
All in favor?
Yeah,
Any opposed?
that just means we're gonna vote on it again later. My preference is to just like approve it and then.
You know,
But you have to
coming
execute
out,
the document.
then someone say, hey,
Yeah, I agree. Yep, I agree.
Because by that time, we'll have forgotten what we said.
Yes, who knows who's looking at it?
Yeah.
You won't find it.
Yeah.
It's just blue.
I guess at this point,
Yeah, blue is approved. It's this whole section.
Okay, that's it.
at this point, I would like to, that as the recommendation executive county commissioner is an appointment thing, we should go to closed meeting and have Mark and Committee lead so we can have a discussion.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do I hear a second to closed meeting?
Send your motion.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not gonna do the
Do you want to
director's
do the
review?
director's report first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go by here, okay?
Yeah, let's read that one first.
Let's
Yeah,
wait for Mark.
I mean, if we're gonna close the meeting, then all we're gonna have is a discussion.
Well, I don't want it public, so when you're talking hiring.
Then we can't do it.
Discussion and candidate, you can close the meeting next time.
We can,
We're,
Yep.
when it's discussing.
Okay, got it, okay.
Closing things, salaries don't have to be public.
Yes.
I-
Oh, we're not talking about,
Yeah,
but I'm saying when we.
Yeah, do approve.
Oh, opposed, or?
No, we're gonna do the,
Director's report.
Got it.
Quit. You're in charge. He's like, yeah. Hey, thank you.
Well, I'll tell you something, I know
That
the
went past her.
director.
That went past her, and I thought it would, and
Yeah.
thank you for your comments, they really didn't, I think we got on common
I'm going
level on this.
to.
We're gonna move to the director's report, Mark.
Oh, wait, you missed a lot, I'm now the director?
Yeah.
okay. It's over.
He's like, have fun presenting his budget, okay?
Let's,
Well, once second for Shane to come back.
Oh, sure. Here's mine, but Mark,
Yeah.
I feel like you just need a couple more pieces of paper. I think you would just make it a little better.
while we're waiting for, I would be looking at the financial
Yep.
reports.
We could do a recycling drive based on all this paper. Yeah, I do remember in the old days when we did recycling, my church would do it, you'd buy those cans, newspapers, and go to the recycling centers and turn that stuff in.
I'll do a nice fire later.
hey, I know you still get 5 cents a can, and you turn it in.
Do you really?
I still,
But
you guys
doesn't
have
have to say
the
on the can,
digital?
Iowa, state Iowa.
I don't have Wi-Fi right now, but
Maybe we should
when I
road
do,
trip.
I'll let you know,
With a
the digital stuff, so that way you can, you know. So I don't have Wi-Fi, and then I'm gonna wait until like mid-April to put it, like, connect to the top of like the events and stuff. Cause we kind of like having it up, so like, it's good. So that's because of that.
So you're gonna start with the budget aspect. And when do you have to submit it? Thursday.
We sort of did submit it, I just happened to go.
Be there too.
You gotta be there. Answer any questions.
We should not have a problem this year at all. Next year will be the battle.
And why your thoughts on that?
Because we still have ARPA hanging over their heads, that they cannot cut our budget.
Okay.
As long as that's there, or the funds can be withdrawn. So we have our last payment coming. So they can sacrifice $100,000 if they want to cut our budget.
And that term would be, the budget starts
Fiscal year be July.
July 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have ARPA until November. So.
Just gauging on the terms. All right. It's yours, Mark.
Well, look at the financials. On the income side, nothing to be worried about. That money will come. It's just a matter of receiving it from the county. I don't know if you have any questions. There's really not a lot of change from last month. Or last meeting, whenever we met.
Mark, I do have a question, and it may not show up in this budget because it probably wasn't a cost. If it was a cost, it wasn't in this one as an expense line. Clearing of the trees and the area, did we pick that up, or?
Some of it. Yeah.
Some of it, okay.
Yeah, and there's more coming. That last storm.
No, I realize that because I drove by and I saw them getting rid of the wood, but then there was an event over the weekend, and I was wondering if the group did it or we did it. We picked up the cost. And is there any estimate of what we're looking at?
This last time it was around, I don't have an exact, it was 5,000.
Yeah, I'm not looking for exact sum, but another $5,000. And where I'm driving to is we've hit a brick wall with the lease.
Okay.
Totally. I mean, Mayor Isbell has not come to any agreement with Rogers Group. At least he hasn't shared with me. I've asked on a consistent basis of what the progress is starting in November. So at this point, I want to make a motion that I say to Mayor Isbell that we're going to explore optional office space. Explore means it's open, doesn't mean we're doing anything, but explore from your aspect that you have the ability to go explore. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. We just have to decide where in the budget we're gonna use to pay for a different office space.
Well,
We won't know until
we won't know until we see what the cost may be.
Correct.
So exploring means.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with exploring.
We may find out that.
Yeah, that's why I termed it exploring. We're not threatening the county that.
No.
We have no lease.
Part of the exploration needs to just be looking at because we have no lease, and the lease terms on their
30
own.
days.
Correct, but what we need to do is look at how much are we spending on the lease, plus how much are we spending annually on
Very true.
repairs,
That's why it's exploratory.
because then we would look at that and say, okay, well, we can rent this
Yeah.
other place for this amount, it would be cheaper than what we spent on repairs for that.
And I think that's
So,
why,
yeah, I mean,
and Mark, that's
looking
why I
at
said
this-
exploratory, is he brings options to the table, it's discussed, the committee can be put together as to decide what the recommendation would be in conjunction with the executive director of the move. But it's been, it's the non-lease that was brought to the board over a year ago.
Right. We cannot continue to.
Yeah, and you had this storm, and that's why I brought up about the $5,000, because it is a continuous. You have roof damage, you think, where does it end? And that's probably why just exploratory. So was that passed?
You did vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, continue with that was only budget.
Any other questions on financials?
I didn't have any, not a material change from last.
Moving on to occupancy tax. The good news is, if you go to page that says occupancy tax on Sumner County Clerk, we are up 15% year over year. We're pacing a new record year for the county.
What do you think is driving
county is part of it. Our efforts are a huge part of it.
Make sure you put that in.
Yes. And I will give some credit to the ice storm.
Okay.
But we were already pacing ahead. Yeah, I mean, if you look even in November, December, we were still already 11% over last year, double digits.
Yeah.
But that demonstrates.
Before, yeah.
No, this is year over year, the hotels have not changed.
Well, you may not even see the impact for the ice storm for a little while yet anyways, given how in arrears the
Right.
county clerk
Yeah,
can't be
this next month
submitting.
could be really.
Yeah.
But it is good news, and it is exactly what I told the budget committee would happen last year, so we've got some credibility there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Any other questions on the budget or? No? Okay, go.
All right, just real quick through the director's report. Something we're looking at Doug's Clark House. Historically, the second floor of the house, we've been told not to use it, not to be allowed to use it for tours. We're not sure why that rule exists. I'm sure it has something to do with legal or access or whatever. We are exploring that because the middle room of that house was originally where the judicial activities took place with Andrew Jackson.
So my question to you, Mark, is who's saying that you can't use it?
The county has said that before I was here, so I'm not assuming it's true until I find out more.
That
Yeah, I would-
could be mayor's office or legal.
Don't know.
Who
Okay.
told you it was the county?
The people that worked at the Douglas.
Are any of them still there?
Yeah, Andrew works with me.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we're exploring that because we'd
Okay.
like to change it around a little bit. We'll see. Just keep you in the loop. Marketing, advertising, the guide. Shoot, I was going to bring some of those for you. Our annual guide is done and completed. We got it done way ahead of schedule thanks to Kendall here. And we've already distributed that out to all the welcome centers. Oh, you do have one.
I have one. I have one fair.
Yeah.
If anyone cares.
The second item there, the friendship rugby tournament's coming up, I believe this weekend, but anyhow, we were going to do a live stream with them. They were not able to pull off the technology. They are going to do it next year. So we're not sponsoring a live stream, but when we do that, we're going to help sponsor that. And the event will be live streamed around the country, and we'll be able to put some 30-second spots into that. And also, we've gone in with Parks and Recreation to create a step and repeat, which is a backdrop like you see at the award shows, where the teams can take pictures, and when awards are presented, it'll actually have our name, our logo, and so it's not just a field behind it. It could be a field anywhere in the country. This one's going to say we were in Sumner County, Tennessee. So we thought that'd be a good thing to do. We are in the planning stages of a TV episode with Let's Take It Outside. And the theme of the episode will be bass, brews, and barbecue. And it's going to feature some local barbecue restaurants, microbreweries, and some fishing on the lake. And we also are working on some A-list country singers who will co-host that show and be out on the boat fishing and so forth. So we'll probably be filming that in July, late June or July.
So just a question, when they're saying featuring barbecue, is local barbecue, do we have different eggs with at least, I know we don't
We're
want
not doing the chains.
Yeah, so do we have?
Top hog.
We're gonna
Center
do top
point.
hog. How about food trucks?
Probably not for this episode.
Okay,
Yeah.
just asking, because I know I've seen a number of barbecue food trucks.
Yes.
You know,
No, we're thinking Top Hog because they've done,
Right, which is
what's
great.
the one, Johnny Cash's place?
Center point.
They've done Center Point in another
yeah, so
episode.
that's another, okay.
So we're gonna do
Top
Top
hog,
Hog.
top hog would be great. Good burgers too.
Yeah, and it's got the theme, the feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I just listed out the sponsorships that are going on.
Are they new, repeat?
These are new. We've opened up, as I think I've explained in the past, sponsorships to be more than just marketing in the sense of direct marketing like advertising, but we also are trying to encourage people, anything that will help enhance the tourist attraction. So it could be a brochure that they're trying to produce, it could be in advertising, it could be anything. And
No, I'm just asking if they were new to us or that we've had them before.
well, we've held all three of these in the past
Okay,
at one time or
that's-
another, but
that's-
these are not annual things.
Okay, no, that's what I meant, is we did it in the
just reporting on the events we've been doing. Songwriters Week, we had the qualifying rounds in Gallatin and Palace Theater. I counted 90 people in attendance that night, and that was the night it was like 5 degrees outside with a wind chill.
Who did you get to judge?
Oh, that's right, you had a problem.
I don't remember who we had that.
Andy,
Yeah, Andy
Gilly.
from Parks and Rec.
she was his friends that work at, Big Amount.
Yeah.
Wade
Yeah,
Evans,
Evans,
was Wade Evans one of them?
Church function.
No.
I don't remember all the names, but anyhow.
You tried.
Yeah.
You were. We had a great event. Okay.
We really did.
Super.
And then we went and hosted the Songwriters Showcase round in Portland at the Temple Theater. That one was great. Unfortunately, Commissioner Zell couldn't make it. He got ill that day and didn't make it down, but part of his team was with us. I have a picture there. Our host was Amber Anderson, and she is quite entrenched in the Amazon podcast that she does, so she knows everybody and anybody, and we have a relationship with her now, and that's good. And then a previous winner from the Portland Showcase, John Wayne Hatfield, came back and performed while the judges were tallying. So it's just a wonderful event. Again, standing room only at the time, by the time we were done. So. Irish Festival. We did it. We pulled it off in spite of the weather. We record revenues coming off of it, which we share with the Bledsoe Fort Historic Group. But attendance, we determined about 30% of the attendees were from outside the county. And that's pretty exciting. You can see down below, I threw in there where they went before and after the event. Kind of interesting. The VP of the Exxon, VP beat Exxon by a couple people, and then Hardee's and Walgreens, and then afterwards, Gallatin Square Azteca. They owe us. Yeah. And the shops at 109 and Water out there. I don't know what that's called. Does that have a name? Yeah. And then Half Batch Brewing. So, one of the things we are talking about for future events is to work with local restaurants and so forth to actually piggyback the event. If Half Batch had had a live entertainment that night of an Irish group, they would have really capitalized.
Oh, yeah, that's a
And
great
maybe
idea.
the night before somewhere else. So we're trying to expand it in that way, make it a little easier. But yeah, in spite of the storm that hit at 3 o'clock, we had a line of cars almost the entire day coming in. And in fact, were not ready for that amount of cars to park. It was awesome. Great event on all accounts. The food vendors ran out of food. It was just, everybody was really thrilled. Everybody did a great job. We are working on migrating all of our stuff from a server-based system to a cloud storage, and that is almost finished, I believe. And as part of that, the second paragraph you'll see there, we have phishing monitoring now going on. So they informed me that over the last couple months, they've been sending phishing attacks to each of our staff to test us. And then they told me they did it. So we did well. We did have one person that didn't quite follow protocol.
She started breaking out of sweat. So.
Yeah, it wasn't, she knows it wasn't her.
Jokes on me, I don't look at my email.
Anyhow, so that's helping us identify potential weaknesses and attacks, and that's great. That's part of the service that we have. Upcoming Women in Travel Summit. There's a group that's going to Chattanooga, and they're bringing women in travel from all over the world to come. These are influencers and so forth in the travel industry. And they're doing a pre- and post-summit fam trips to various areas around Tennessee to let people explore besides being in Chattanooga for their conference. We work together with Robertson and Cheatham counties to invite a group to our region. We're waiting to hear how many signed up for that, but we have a great plan for the Sumner County portion, which will be taking them out to a night at Paradise, the former home of Leon Russell out here in Gallatin, almost to Bethpage, and having dinner and entertainment there, and we've already got entertainment scheduled for that. But they'll also be going to the alpacas and out on the lake and hitting the historic sites and then doing some shopping on the square. That's the day they spend with us, but they're also doing two other days at the other counties. So that'll be a great event, we hope. I've been invited to join, and so has my friend here, the Greater Nashville Regional Council, which is kind of they're the tourist development. Well, they do all the development for Nashville area and north, but
they're starting to focus more on tourism right now, and so they've asked us to form a roundtable, I guess is what they're calling it, right? Yeah. So we're involved in that, and hopefully as that moves forward, we'll get a little bit more out of them. In the past, they've really just been a source of funding. They do a couple $1,000 in grants every year, and that's all we ever saw from them. So this is encouraging that they're getting more focused on that.
Well, part of that too, I hope you don't mind, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
on this. They're looking for more regional advertising opportunities. So like, say we have something going on, Gallatin, Portland, or whatever, and Robertson County has something the next day, kind of how we can work together. Yeah, 100%. So.
On the next page, just promoting the Irish Festival, we had our Director of Marketing, Zach, was on March 3rd. He was on the Good Morning Nashville show with our sidekick, Leprechaun, who was also the MC at the event, and did a show there to promote us, and that you can actually still find that clip if you're really good at searching on Channel 2. And they did a great job. They were kind of crazy. We attended the whole staff to the Gallatin Chamber of Commerce kickoff event, which was interesting. The keynote speaker started his presentation by telling us that tourism is not important.
I'm sure he came around to a better point.
He did not.
Oh.
No, the point was you have to build nicer things. Yeah, I was telling
You
you.
have to build one.
Nicer places.
Yeah, it's all
Like
about.
if you want nice people and you want people to spend money, you have to build nice places. Like if you have like a bad architect, you need to get better architects.
This is the Gallatin Chamber of Commerce?
It was a keynote speaker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, that city guy, whatever his name was.
His name is
No, I mean,
Ziegler.
there you go. What does he do for a living?
Architectural design, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
So,
Yeah. Where's my card?
Yeah, I almost stood up and walked out, but they warned us that he would say some things that were controversial, so I held my tongue. But it was interesting.
It never got better.
What was Mayor Isbell there?
He was.
Tourism 250.
He was there. News Channel 2, Kendall represented us on News Channel 2. They wanted to do a piece on music in Sumner County, particularly Hendersonville, I guess. And so she talked about the Taylor Swift, Oak Ridge Boys, Johnny Cash, and more. And there is a link there which does you no good, but.
I was wrong.
Yeah. But if you search it, you can find it. Something that Mayor Isbell is doing that I am thrilled about is he has gotten with the economic development team around the county and asked them to form a collaborative where they meet quarterly to discuss challenges and successes, but also to kind of focus on a county-wide plan of economic development. And so he asked that I be involved in that, on that group. So I attended the first meeting the other day down in Hendersonville, and very welcomed. And I point out here, one of the ways that tourism involved is the front porch of economic development, because people usually first experience a community through tourism, and then they end up moving there or building their business there.
His overall commentary about Tourism 250 and tourism is he really is putting a lot of emphasis on tourism. So this is great.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned it here, but now, next month, the planning departments around the county are doing the same thing. They're forming a collaborative. So taking that lead, we are working on. There's planning. We're going to start that next month.
The next is Shannon's favorite.
I'm not going to that one yet. So following the pattern of these two groups, before he asked me to do it, we're going to try and form with all of the partners around the county a tourism collaborative. We already do it once a year, but it's more of me telling about what we do. And so we're going to do more of this pattern where we can actually create a tourism plan that's countywide. We've always felt like we should be the ones to do that. It's not oversight, but it's like working with people like you and saying, hey, let's talk about what you're doing there and make sure that Westmoreland knows what you're doing and that we give them to both places, you know, or whatever. So that's kind of how we're going to proceed. So I'm working on that. I'm excited about that, actually. The Historic Haunts Tour, we had 4 buses come through Saturday at the Comer House, and then after they were done at our place, they went to 3 other locations. That's all I know.
Did we not lose anybody?
I don't know what they found. I don't care.
It's so weird. Just Mark's office is really haunted.
Oh, listen.
I believe it.
Fully when it gets there.
I've given you some other documents here. It's a tourism, travel and tourism report from Placer AI, which is the group that gives us the foot traffic patterns. And it helps show that through February, traffic was up quite a bit from January, year over year as well. Knoxville led the market of people that are feeding to it. And then Memphis, of all places, a little further away, moving up in rank. There's a lot of statistics and numbers here. I don't expect you to worry about too much of it, but I thought you'd be interested to see that. There's several pages there to that. And then I included, this is the document that I gave to the Tennessee 250 or the Sumner County 250 committee. They asked us to do the scavenger hunt for the county of the historic sites, and this is the document I gave them, proposing what we would do. Shannon's on that committee. She knows what we're doing. Yes.
I do have questions. Estimated software cost is $5,000 to $10,000, and it's a one-time program license.
Yeah.
Are you going to apply to the 250 committee for extra funding for that?
I don't think they're gonna have any left, do you, after that monument they're doing?
We have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
And if it's one-time licensing, if this were something that you wanted to do like every year, is it cheaper to get it, well, just, we'll talk later about
Yeah,
that.
there's no advantage to a multi-year agreement.
There you go, that's what I was
It
thinking.
ended up coming in around 6,000, because we got some nonprofit discounts, so.
Oh, okay.
And we have the license for a full year with unlimited use.
Oh,
So we can do some other things this
so you
year.
could even do like a Christmas
Yes,
scavenger
we
hunt
could.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
That's pretty much it, I think. Any questions?
No, that's great. I want to go back and we
Yeah.
passed over public comment.
He's here for, I know you're here for the 5:30 meeting, and I told Chairman Wynn that we were running a little behind, so we're going to have an executive committee.
Closed session.
Yeah, so
Tourism.
you're in the, yes, it's tourism.
All right.
I've been in Sumner County since 2006. I work full-time for Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'm the fire chief of Oak Community. What does Sumner County Tourism do for emergency service? Anything at all? When you have an event, you expect there to be public safety, I'm sure, if somebody who's hurt. But does tourism get back into public safety?
The occupancy tax from the hotel motel goes to general fund, which is what then is what the commissioners use to fund the rest of the departments in the county. So a portion of what you all received out of the, I think we ended up giving you all 1.1 million.
Split.
Yeah, but a portion of that would have come from what was left over from the hotel motel occupancy tax, plus all of the retail sales tax that they bring into the county goes to the general fund. I mean, it's all part and parcel. Do they ever write you a check or sponsor you? I don't believe that I've seen that, but anytime you would like to call the interim director.
Right, if you had an event that brought people from outside the county to the county to spend money as visitors,
Which they're gonna do anyway, a lot of times, right?
yeah, we would support that.
We have something, they're gonna come most times, they wanna enjoy that event.
Right.
Yeah, like we do sponsor the Strawberry Festival in Portland, and so your Oak Grove's up near in
We're
Portland,
having
yeah.
Pancake benefit breakfast
Uh-huh,
on the 52 yard sale that day,
uh-huh.
16th of May.
So do you,
Love to see you guys come out there and take it.
well then, it would probably, you could also contact, when y'all have those, I never thought about that, so I'm glad you're sitting there, when y'all, I'm Commissioner Bergdorf, so when y'all have those, then you should contact tourism, because I think that it would be within their.
Well, and to go back to the clarification is the purpose of sponsorship primarily is to bring external out-of-county visitors in. And again, ours, he has a policy procedure.
Well, I see today,
They go
somebody
through.
from out of county comes to my fire station and asks one of my firefighters if we covered a certain area, I was able to put it on fire property. So that, your fire departments have a lot to do with that. They come up to us and ask us questions about the community.
Right,
No,
well,
we really.
but if, when y'all have those pancake breakfasts and stuff, I'm sure that you could work something out with.
Yeah, we have two things that we can do for you. If you felt that we would be bringing people in from outside the county, we have a sponsorship application on our website.
Okay.
And you can apply for that, and we work with whatever group